So I understand that your father crossed over in June of this year. Were you there, or have you spoken with him or spent time with him since then?
Had a, what is that word? I was going to say incarnation, but it doesn't sound like that. It's different. We'll just use a different word, please. I don't know that word. Encounter, that's the word.
Encounter.
He says, I had an encounter with him. Let me tell you this. When he crossed over, he didn't go into the light right away. There was a certain awareness inside of him of the things that he had done that were not kind, that were not good, let's say it that way. And he was very aware of that. So there was a lot of fear inside of him of crossing over and not knowing what judgment would be waiting for him. Yeah. So it took him a little bit to get out of the darkness and to be guided into the light. But again, this is a free will. That's how he created it for himself. Once he understood that there is no judgment and that there is reason and purpose behind everything, he was guided and counseled by his team and by family members. Now, once he fully understood and grasped the purpose and meaning behind all his actions, and once he understood the conflict that he created within people's selves, then I went to go see him. And I know that might sound a little cruel, but I needed him to understand that despite the fact that when we cross over, we have a better understanding of things, that I couldn't face him until he fully understood what his actions did, the outcome of his actions. And only then we could kind of reside together and find a reconnection, creating a new relationship between us. And that doesn't mean that I didn't heal. Doesn't mean that I didn't heal after I crossed over. But what it means was that I had to give him an opportunity to heal.
The space. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so I respected that very much so, because I know I needed space to heal from that. I needed guidance, and I received that. But he needed that space as well. He needed time to, I just want to use the word heal. It's more like come to terms with the outcome or the results it had on other people, his actions, the results of that. So I gave him time and space to understand, to fully grasp who he is now, but to also fully grasp who he was then. And then our reconnection was very soft. It was very slow, but we did reconnect. We don't hang out as much as, but it's different here. People want to think that we just kind of hang out, but our frequencies are very different. He's in a very, he's part of my soul group, but he's not part of my soul family. So we are, if you look at the vibrational frequency, we're very different. Hence, we don't kind of get drawn towards each other as much as the people or the entities that you do have a very similar frequency with. Because I don't know if that makes any sense, he says, but what you guys call hanging out, it really depends on your frequency. And it's almost like, how you have friends and you instantly resonate with that person. You feel like, yes, that means because you're on the same frequency. You're vibrating at the same level. And therefore, it's very comfortable and you get drawn to each other. You like to be around each other. And so for us, it's very similar. It's not a physical attraction. It's a vibrational attraction. So it's it's the same thing. And so we get drawn to entities that are vibrating at a similar frequency. My father and I can call him father now, it used to be Joseph, but my father and I really are on a completely different frequency. And so we could feel that very much so in the incarnation, and it's still very much so in the afterlife. But reconnection did occur. Love has taken its place, and so forgiveness has been reached, he says.
So I don't know if you can clear this up for me. Well, I'm not sure it's a clearing up kind of thing. But I know that we splinter off from a higher self, and there could be 10 incarnations, 2 incarnations happening at the same time. So when we cross, I know we have the option of going back to source. I mean, I know that all of that, everybody has their own idea of that. So do you pop into the Michael Jackson, do you pop into that incarnation to do work, and then you pull out of that and you are your higher self? Or like, how long do you stay Michael and he stays Joseph? And I mean, at what point do you become your higher selves that know more? When do we lose the Kerry skin, the Kerry ego? Yeah.
He's laughing. He's like, I know what you're trying to say. It's a very difficult concept for people to grasp. But basically, you're always part of your higher self, of your core entity. But every incarnation you've had, every consciousness that was individually created has unique abilities, has unique frequencies, and has unique skills due to everything that was learned in the incarnation. So as Michael, I have a very soft, very high vibrating, I'm very kind of a high vibrating being. And so I use that energy to help people around the world, to help people everywhere, or entities. I help people with nature. I help people with animal protection. Anything that's about preservation of Mother Earth and of the human race is what I help with. And so you kind of have to see. I'm going to try and give you a visual, he says, and maybe, just maybe, it might make a little bit of sense. Think of your higher self as you being at home, being 100% your true self with all of your abilities, all of your qualities, all of your knowledge and wisdom from a lifetime, okay? You at home, in your couch, at the most comfortable place and the most safest place that you can be, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you get up in the morning, we'll just do it that way. You get up in the morning and you have a specific job to do, right? And for that specific job, you need specific skills. So what you will do is you will leave your home. Your home stays your core, your home base, your pureness, okay? And so your home releases the entity that will do that job the best, okay? So you basically choose from your home basis, from being at home, you choose what working outfit you will be putting on that day, okay? And then that, let's say I'm a healer, I put my little doctor's outfit on, meaning Michael's outfit, and I walk out the door, I go and help, and at the end of the day, we come back and we rejoin, okay? But now multiply that with, a million, hundreds, thousands of lives that you've led doing all these different kinds of jobs in the afterlife. Does that kind of make sense, he says? Okay. So you kind of have your home base, which is your higher self, and from that higher self, your higher self releases consciousness, entities that you have been with specific qualities in order to help others. Or let's say a loved one is thinking about you, then she will send you out the door to go and visit, and then at the end of your day you come back home and you rejoin your home, your base. that's kind of what it is. But then you have to take away time. You have to take away space. But that's the easiest way I can explain it. So it's really, you stay in your home, but at the same time, when you put on a different outfit and you leave your home temporarily to help, to communicate with your loved ones, to do some guiding, to whatever it is that you want to do in that outfit. You go ahead and do it. And whenever you feel at this moment, oh, I'm not really needed at this moment, you kind of go back home and you reside, and you kind of become part of you. You get to take your shoes off and you get to sit comfortable and just relax, if that makes any sense at all, he says. But that's the only way I can think of how to give you a visual of what it is.
So with you and Joseph, you both will leave your home, come together, and heal what needs to be healed in that transaction.
Exactly.
And then go back home. That's beautiful. Yes. Thank you for that. I've never heard it said that way. It does make sense.
You just you're just taking on different outfits. Oh, Michael is needed. That energy of Michael, those experiences, those life experiences are needed to help this person, to help that person. So I put my Michael suit on and I leave for my work, and I come home, take the Michael suit off, and I'm back at home. That's kind of how it works. But then multiplied by so many different lives that you've led.
So many, and so many.
It's a crowded house. It's a crowded house, but it's cozy and it's warm and it's safe and it's you, 100%.
Oh, I love that. That feels good. That really feels good. Okay, thank you. Okay,
you're very welcome.
So polite. Danielle Turk-Deck asked Michael Jackson, "What was your life's purpose, and do you feel that you completed it?" I know we've touched on a little bit of this here and there, probably a lot of it.
Wow, he's saying my life's purpose. Well, I was here to learn and I was here to teach. And I think we discussed this a little bit already. I was here really to learn the opposite of love, so I could see what love is. Because, that sounds a little weird, he says, okay, in order to understand what true compassion, what true love is, what healing is, you also have to experience the opposite. You need to be able to compare it to something. So I know that I was here to experience abuse, to experience the loss of self-identity, so I could use that pain to understand what real love should look like, to understand what real healing should look like, and then incorporate that into my songs so I could heal others. I wasn't healing myself, unfortunately, but I was here to heal others, to raise other people's vibrations, to bring awareness. So in a way, I feel that I was a prophet of awareness, compassion, and love. I was here to help heal the world. I hear that song, Heal the World, in my head. So
elimination diet.
But I was here, yes, to experience opposites and to also fully understand and really get into, by experiencing the human psyche, understanding the human psyche, and then understanding why people do the things that they do, so I can then use that to help and heal Earth and humanity even more. So I think that's what I was here to do. Did I complete it? Yes, I think I did. I'm still to this day inspiring people to take better care of nature, to take better care of each other. It might not seem like that when you look at the world, but my songs are still songs of love. They're songs of self-reflection, of awareness. And as long as music is out there, it will always have a healing factor upon people, because it reaches the notes, the frequencies reach the core of your heart. It doesn't stop here. It goes through you. And that frequency lifts everything inside of you, not just your spirit, but it lifts the frequency of your human body as well. And that's why music is so healing. So yes, I did complete it. Would I have loved to see myself be able to transcend the abuse, be able to be more of an example to people on how to regain your inner power? Then yeah, I would have loved to do that. But the purpose for me was to really be in that state of hurt so I could heal others.
So your family was very large, and it seems that there was a split between who viewed things as abuse and who didn't. And I know that we're all here for our own growth and our own lessons, and we are not in charge of other people and what they do, and we have to honor that. Do you see healing happening, especially now that your father has crossed, with other folks in your family, your siblings?
I do feel that there's going to be healing happening. I don't think they are there yet, but and the reason it's not there yet, he says, is because not everybody is ready to confront it yet. Mm-hmm. A lot of my family members have suppressed it, have tried very hard to forget it, and have, in a way, tucked it into a drawer and locked it up. And the only way we can heal is to really confront it, and to find purpose and meaning behind it, and to also find our inner strength in those memories, in those experiences, he says.
Well, I mean, I think that there is a natural evolution, and I always say if I do my job right, these 3 children that I have that I adore more than anything will leave me. I mean, if I give them the strength to go, but it's probably very hard to acknowledge things when your livelihood really did depend at one time. I mean, for a very long time for all of you, because you were so enmeshed with family and with business, and with it was so together. So it is hard. I mean, I think that, you know, we see people all day long that are in relationships where their livelihood depends on that relationship. Well, it's hard to reject that person. You know, I think that so I do see where that would be very difficult.
Family, he says family is complicated. And I loved all my siblings, and I loved my mom very much, and I still do. But there were times where I felt like they were denying what happened. Oh, that didn't really happen. Or it wasn't as bad. And sometimes I felt like I was the only one who knew the truth, or who was able to remember it the way that it went. But families are hard sometimes. Sometimes we're in different wavelengths, and we just don't see or experience the reality in the same way. But exactly. I never stopped loving them, and I never will.
So you're closer. I feel, without knowing a whole lot, I feel that you were very close to a couple of them. Your sister especially. You guys resembled each other. You seem to carry the same soft energy. Is that true? I mean, were you two very close?
We were very close, but we also had massive ups and downs in our relationship.
That's family.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. What do you miss the most about being human? And this is from Shirley Rigby.
Oh, that's easy. He's saying, thank you for your question. Well, number one, my children's hugs and their interaction and being able to communicate to them. I miss that very, very much. I miss shopping. I know people are going to think I'm crazy, but it was so much fun. I loved shopping. And, I loved arts. I love arts and I love creating art. And I miss climbing trees and I miss water balloon fights. Yeah, I miss a lot of things. But yeah, mostly my children, of course.
I understand that. Oh, they're beautiful. They are beautiful kids. Okay, so Catherine Weber, what message would you like to give your children? Speaking of your children, what would you hope that they could get very clearly?
Well, again, very simple. I'm always with them from morning to evening, that I love them unconditionally, and that they need to be strong enough to create their own future. You see, after I transitioned, I instantly understood that the idea of separation was completely a human concept. And it was, it was to my great surprise and pleasure. It was good to know that it's not even possible to be separated from each other, and that we're always together. And a lot of times I go and sit with my mom and my children every day to make sure that they still feel me around. So I just want them to know that I'm there and I will always be there. Even if they don't need me anymore, I will always be there and I will always guide them. But it's very important for all of them to stay true to their own identity and to cherish that.
I keep hearing the song, I'll Be There, I'll Be There. That's so funny.
Yeah, he likes to sing his songs, I've noticed.
Isn't that beautiful? See, how did, yeah, okay.
You're channeling, Kerry, woohoo!
Okay, you've already answered the question, have you well, yes, you said that you're not here right now. Do you have plans to reincarnate? And that one is from Shauna Voigt. Shauna Jacob Voigt. I'm killing it. I'm done.
Well, like I said, we're always present somewhere in the human timeline. Right now, I really just truly enjoy playing Cupid because what I'm doing is bringing people together, helping those souls who wanted to experience each other on a very intimate level to find each other. So I'm kind of like heaven's matchmaker right now, and I really, really love it.
MichaelMatch.com.
It is a very rewarding job. So that's what I do right now. And I'm very focused on that. And of course, helping everyone else who wants to connect, who needs guidance, and so on and so forth. But mostly, yeah, I'm heaven's matchmaker right now.
So
but yeah, I do have an incarnation that's, for me, is taking place. For you, this is in about 5 years that I will be born again. He's showing me a picture. It looks like it's a boy. India is what he's showing me on the map. So he's an Indian boy, and he's here to become a spiritual teacher. So he's saying he's very excited to kind of experience human life from a more spiritual perspective, being completely at peace, being completely acceptant of everything, and being balanced from childhood. So that's my new incarnation that's coming, and that I will again have a great impact on the world. But I'm here to heal, and that's what I'm here to do. But that's not for your timeline in a couple of years.
Here's a question, and here is a challenge, maybe?
Oh, good.
How is there something that people can look for when they know that you are there? I mean, a lot of people identify with a butterfly, or they identify with a song or a feather, or is there something that or a thought or a word? Is there something that people can say, oh yes, I'm feeling Michael, and look, a bug crawled by? Or is there something that you identify with that we can keep an eye out for?
Well, I don't really use a specific form or a specific way to let them know that I'm around. What you need to look for with me is kind of an overwhelming sensation of peace for a short time. So whether you're frustrated or you're not feeling good or you're sad, when you request my assistance, you will feel almost like your heart will be lifted a little bit. You will feel lighter. And then I try to communicate through thought form mostly. So that's really what you should be looking for when you communicate to me. Because what I do is I literally elevate your energy around the heart chakra. So you can, let me explain it this way. When the energy in the heart chakra is at peace, then that spreads out throughout all of the chakras. And so you will feel good when I'm there. And that should help you to kind of feel better and be able to move forward a bit. Yeah.
You help move all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was something that we haven't really discussed that I think it was a pretty significant, I would think, in your planning of your timing. So you came to Earth during that time of true change, dealing with race and dealing with all of that. I mean, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, there was just so much upheaval. And yet you guys did not seem to be really affected I'm sure you were. And I know that I think it was your great grandfather that was a slave, or great great grandfather was a slave. And so that was the undercurrent. And I'm sure part of your father's will to push you out and make you guys as successful as you could be. But civil rights that was like at its peak when you guys were really coming into the Jackson 5 and then past that. So was that part of the bridge? Were you trying to help bridge that gap, the race gap?
Not really. And I have to say, I didn't fully experience that on a very deep level, that separation, that racism, because our focus was always on producing music. So when the focus is not there, then you don't fully experience it. And also a lot of times I was being protected probably from things like that. But I do feel that we did have an influence on colored people in music. I do feel like we were part of we were a group who was loved by everyone.
Exactly.
And that kind of opened the doors that it was okay, as a Caucasian person to truly, like colored people singing. And because back then, sometimes that wasn't allowed, or, don't do that. So I think we did we did have an influence on kind of eliminating or getting rid of the separation of who was allowed to listen to what. But consciously, I didn't fully experience that in my lifetime.
Well, I'm asking this at the end of the interview because it never occurred to me to ask before. I never saw it with you guys ever. I mean, it never even occurred to me that,
he says, and you know why that is?
Why is that?
My energy was not about color, and it wasn't about race or ethnicity. My energy was, I was here to heal people. I was here to put love in people's hearts. I was here to put a smile on people's face. And that's what people saw. They didn't see our color. They didn't see, or our appearances, but they saw what I wanted to reject, what I wanted to express energetically. That's what people connected to. And so I don't think it ever, or it didn't really occur to a lot of people, oh my God, they are colored people singing. No, what they looked was like, oh my God, he's adorable. I just want to eat him up and hug him. And he's so sweet, and everybody's so sweet. I just want to love this family. That's what people saw, and that's what we projected. So I think because our family never fully kind of put their focus on that separation, that it also never rejected, because he says when you put your focus in something, or you have in the back of your mind, what are people going to think? How are people going to view us? All of those disempowering questions, when you have that in the back of your mind and you're performing, well, then guess what? You're going to get responses, or you're going to get exactly what you're thinking about back there. You're going to see that. But it was never even a part of our reality. We never even thought about, oh my God, what are people going to think because we're colored? We just wanted to make, my father, our family wanted to play music and make people happy and make people love us. And that's what we put our focus on. And so that's why people never saw what we didn't create. See, what you create, you will see, and I think a lot of artists back then, who were colored, they did experience racism, and they did experience a lot of, a lot of attacks on them. And that's also because they feared it. Mm-hmm. And when you fear it, you will experience it. But me as a young child, I didn't see color. I was 5 years old when I started singing. I never saw color. And because I never put my focus on there, my focus was solely on performing, getting it right, trying to please Joseph, and so on and so forth. My focus was survival in a way. That was my sole focus. Therefore, I never emitted the energy of hopefully people won't reject me because of my skin color. And I think that's what it is.
That is such a perfect, that's just, I want everybody to really think about that you did not carry that energy. So he didn't carry it. Therefore, it wasn't an issue. I mean, that's huge. That in itself is a huge, number one, that we tap into other folks, and you didn't carry it. You didn't have, as you've said, you didn't have that coat on. And so no one else saw it. That's huge.
If you don't create it, you won't experience it.
Well, and if you think about that time, again, I know I said this, but when you think about that time, that was true. I mean, the 50s, the 60s, that's when all of that was really starting to clash. I mean, in a very open way. Obviously it was very much there before that and since then, but it's anyway. So thank you for that. Thank you for pointing that out. I love that. So is there anything that you would like?
Yeah,
you were about to say something.
He's saying, this is, and this is the ironic part. He says, it did, I did experience it a little bit, but not until I got my skin disease. Because then people were like, wait a minute, aren't you supposed to be black and now you're white? So, but that felt more like being judged for the way that I looked, but not so much for the skin color. I think we are so impacted and affected by what we're supposed to be and what others think we are supposed to be. I think we all feel that way. And I think that being known the way you were known, and you were such an empath, I'm sure you felt so much of that, or actually I'm feeling that you probably created a bubble around you so that you didn't feel that as much. But it is, I mean, that must have been a tough thing. So is there anything that you would like to share? I mean, you've given us such amazing insight and beauty to really dive into. What a gift. I think what I really want people to know and understand is that we can heal the world, but we have to do it together as a collective consciousness, and we have to um, create a majority of people who have awareness and understanding of how the world works, who have awareness and understanding of how we can heal each other. And if we all join hands together, it's the only way that we can change our reality around us. Now, it starts with one of you. It starts with one person deciding that enough is enough. I'm going to put my focus on where it counts, and I'm going to disregard the things that I don't want to experience. Now, that doesn't mean you are ignoring it. It just means that you choose to see beauty and love instead of pain and suffering. And from that grows a society, because when you pass that on to your children, just like you're doing, Kerry, he says, you're passing that on from generation to generation. You create a new generation that can help each other. You create a generation that has compassion for each other, even if we are very different, even if our thinking and our understanding of the universe is very different. When we can find acceptance in each other and in our differences and still see the beautiful soul that is present, now that's how we can change the world, from generation to generation. It's just going to grow, and it's going to grow. And as that love grows, that's how we slowly see the dissolve of all the suffering and of the pain that we literally afflict or conflict upon each other, because that's really what we're doing. We're attacking each other for the sole purpose of feeding our own ego. And when we do that, and there's nothing wrong with having an ego. It was put in place for a reason, and that was so you could distinguish yourself from everyone else. So you can have an individual experience, you need to have an ego. But what we need to develop is a healthy ego where compassion, love, and understanding and acceptance is key into the existence of that person. And the ego is not used for self-gain by hurting others, by stepping on other people's contracts. Everybody's here for a different reason, and everybody here has a purpose towards you and towards the collective. So if we can see that, even if we do not approve of what they are doing, even if we do not approve of how they perceive the reality, if we can just find acceptance that there must be a reason for that. Either that person is learning something, or that person is adding something to the universal energy to make shifts happen, to make awareness happen, then so be it. But if we all find acceptance in our heart that there is purpose and intention behind every positive and negative aspect in this world, then you will see that the energies of the collective will be raised to a higher frequency. And slowly but surely we dissolve the negative vibrations, the lower frequencies, and we raise the vibrations of everything and everyone to a higher level. And that's how we heal together.
That sounds very simple, but as we know, it's not. And I believe there are forces that really don't want to see that happen. It is a great song.
I love his music.
You really have to listen. I mean, it's the music is fun and it's nice, but then when you start really listening to the words and you feel it, it's completely different.
I think, and this is just for me personally, that all of his songs have spiritual understanding behind it. Mm-hmm. And if you listen closely, you will notice that he is trying to pass on messages to everyone on how we can heal each other and how we can heal this beautiful planet that we live on.
You know what I wonder? I wonder why we have the need. They did it with Elvis. They did it with Michael Jackson. They did it with JFK. Why do we have this need when people die, when they transition, everybody sees them everywhere? These conspiracy theories, they're not really dead. They're, here is this footage showing them walking around, and we really do have a need for that. Have you seen that? Well, I mean, I guess YouTube's full of it.
This is what Michael's saying. The reason people create these stories, these conspiracy theories, is for several reasons. One, either when they see true love and when they see someone who truly wants to change the world for a better, and they leave too early, it's really hard for people to let go of that hope that was there. Because if they let go, it will make them feel like all hope is lost for humanity. That's number one. Number two, people love making these conspiracy theories out of lack of control. They feel that they cannot control the world. So if they can create stories that makes them feel like they know more than other people, that they have control over information that might help their future, then they will hold on to that. And it's really just a lack of self-love or self-trust. It's also a lack of trust in society that creates these conspiracy theories. So there's different reasons why people do that. But when it comes to someone, JFK wanted to make big changes, wanted to, reveal a lot of truths about alien entities and so on. He had a lot of plans of being honest for once with people. Of course, that didn't settle well with other people who like to keep people in fear and control. But people knew that. They could feel that in their hearts. He's gonna tell us the truth. He's going to help us. He's going to give us hope for a better future. Same with me. Same with Marilyn. She was so pure and she was so innocent. And at the same time, she was so used and abused by the people around her. And people connect to that pureness. They connect to that innocence. That I had, that Marilyn had, and they just know right there when they connect to you, you are a true, honest person who only wants the best, for everyone, who just wants to help society, move into a more positive thing. And it's so hard when those bright lights of souls disappear so early. The same with Princess Di. She was just full of love and full of compassion for people around her. And again, she was used and abused from the outside world. But people see that pureness. It's almost like an angelic light that these people project. And people feel good with that person, even if they don't know him personally. They just feel like this is a person that's honest and truthful. And in a world where the distrust among people gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year, we hold on dearly to those souls. And a lot of times those souls are only here for a very short amount of time because they're here to leave a mark. They're here to leave an impression of who we could be and who we want to be. And then when their light fades in the incarnation and they go back home, they do still continue their work, but they do it behind the scenes. But what they needed to do was leave an energy behind that's going to linger on through the centuries and going to continue to spark people's love and compassion in their hearts, and to spark inspiration and kind of the will to continue their work, to continue healing the world in whatever way or form that might be.
Mm-hmm. It's an energetic imprint. And once that template is here, then other people can access that easily. Anything else you would like to say or ask?
No, I don't have a lot of questions. I'm just happy that he was willing to step forward, and he kind of made my week really good because his energy was so soft and soothing, and so I had a good week.
That's wonderful. What a gift.
What a gift. What more can I ask for? And I've always been a big fan of his music. So, to this day, we still have all of his greatest hits and all of that in the car. So, I'm just happy I got to connect with him. Yeah.
Me too. Me too. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming and for making the connection. I love it.
He's saying you're very welcome and know that I love you all. All right, guys. Thank you again for joining us on another episode of Messages from Beyond. Thank you, Kerry, for being here with me on this beautiful journey.
Thank you. I got to talk to Michael Jackson. Are you kidding?
I know. Isn't that great?
This is so much fun.
Everyone. Well, thank you for joining us. Okay. Yeah.
Who's next week? Or who's next show?
I think it was a pharaoh called Tutankhamun, if I have that right.
Tutankhamun. Mm-hmm. King Tut.
King Tut. There you go. We in Dutch we say Tutankhamun, but I don't know how you say it in English.
I was just thinking your English is very American. I can tell who you talk to all day. Yeah. All right, everybody.
But thank you again. We'll see you next month.
See you next month. Have a great month.
Bye, guys.